But I got to tell you, there's no doubt that you don't have a complete understanding of it. Thank you.
David, I got a question over
All right.
here.
Yeah, go ahead, George.
Lynn Schaefer, Wellington F. How would you assess our leverage in this coming to arbitration? Do we have much leverage?
I think that we have a fair chance. All right? I don't know if you listened to the lawyer speak. By the way, that film is on the blog, the video. The lease meets 8 out of 9 checkpoints in 718 of what constitutes an egregiously or oppressive agreement. 8 out of 9 is pretty good. I think a fair arbitration panel might resonate to that. So I think our leverage is reasonable. I think this lease is extremely one-sided. It's oppressive against the unit owners, and I believe it will be seriously modified, if not thrown off the raft. All right? But there's no guarantee. You walk into a legal proceeding, there's never a guarantee. I think it's going to certainly end up, many parts of it, in arbitration and possibly in a courthouse. That's anticipated. I expect that. All right. Folks, Cam, all right. Any other new business? Any other new business to come before? Where am I looking? All right, George, way back in the balcony.
Way back, okay. All right,
Stage right.
right there.
Run. No,
See him,
don't
I
leave,
see him.
leave him alone.
Marvin Fairtag, Windsor H. Just a suggestion, really not a question, but in trying to get the 75%, rather than waiting for some of these associations that obviously some of them are disorganized or not available, can the vice presidents who are responsible for each quadrant convene meetings and sort of take the bull by the horns and set up a meeting with all those associations within their quadrant to push this thing through? If you're waiting for them to come, you can see that.
I think you've come up with a reasonable idea. We're willing to try anything. And by the way, thank you for your comments yesterday at the commission hearing. I was not there. I watched it live streaming. All right. And by the way, you can still, those videos are archived. And they can be found on the web, but don't work so hard. We've ordered up a CD, and soon we'll make it available on our community channels as soon as we get the CD. Anything else, George, back there?
David?
Hold on.
Okay, go ahead. Was that Fausto?
Yeah, that was me. I just want to address the last person that spoke. What I said before, you need to ask us for our help. We're not a management company over you. We're here to help you in your individual corporate associations. So you have to ask us. We can't come in and tell you what to do, but you can ask us for our help, and that's how you can get it done. Right, David?
Yeah, this is a very important point, and I really hope that everyone at some time has read the bilateral agreement between you and UCO. We do not manage you. We do not have imperial decree powers. We have a strict non-interference clause in that bilateral agreement. But any association that requires assistance, we will do everything we can to help you. All right? What do you got, George?
I just had another point on the question of the lease and the potential purchase. I would strongly urge you to maybe, as Ed had mentioned, check out with Deerfield sort of the process they went through and the results of
I
taking
believe,
over.
I believe, if I'm not mistaken, Deerfield Beach dumped Levy.
Yes, that's exactly what I'm saying.
Quite right.
So how do they do that?
They have a different agreement. It wouldn't be so easy to dump Levy now. He's contract manager for Benenson Capital in New York. And they just, I believe, signed a renewal of that contract for 10 years. So dumping local management may not be so easy.
But purchasing this happened years ago. I understand that there was an opportunity to purchase it, and it was turned down many, many years ago.
We can demand the right to purchase, but we cannot set the price.
Right.
And I fear the price would be in the twilight zone, because when Benenson computes the price, they look at the anticipated rents 10 years forward. They are going to ask a lot of money to buy this facility. Did I see
Right
another?
behind you, sir.
Okay.
Right behind you.
Poor George. George is getting his exercise today.
I need it.
Bob Sherman, Coventry, J. Okay. How was Deerfield able to purchase their property? Is that what they did?
Yes, they have a different agreement in Deerfield. I do not have a copy of that agreement, but we were the first, and pardon my language, we were quadrilaterally screwed, but people learned from our experience. And on those follow-on agreements in Deerfield, in Boca, in Pembroke Pines, they're very different, all right?
So their start position was different than...
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly right.
Thank you.
David,
Wow. Go ahead, Ed.
if I'm not mistaken, I wasn't here at the time, but this property was offered to all the residents.
Yes.
And I think, from what I heard, at that time, it was $300 per unit. So definitely Deerfield had a different agreement, which they negotiated. And from what I heard, they partially paid for it each year, what they were paying. Now, they had the experience of us. We were the first. But we were also offered the whole shooting match for $300 a year. And from the people I talked to, they said, let my kids worry about it. That's in the future. So we did have a choice.
All right. What? No. What? Okay, look. Please, don't shout out questions. If you have a question, please get the mic, and we'll address. I heard golf course, but I'm not sure what the question was. Let me say something about the golf course.
Okay.
No. Okay, go ahead. Forget the golf course. All right. Any other questions here under new business? Going. All right. Are
One
there
here,
any
David-
committee
David,
chairs?
You have one here.
Oh boy. Go ahead.
Hi, it's not a question, it's just a statement of fact. You mentioned, David, that there's no guarantee to lawsuit results. And
All right.
That's 100% accurate. What is guaranteed is if we do absolutely nothing to improve the contract, we can be guaranteed to continue to lose and be at the mercy of Benenson.
Right. You're absolutely right. Very good point. Okay. Am I premature? Are we?
Another one over there.
Boy. All right.
Hold on. I'll be right
Not
back.
yet. All right, now let me make a comment on committee reports. This was doctrine established as far back as George Lowenstein. We really don't have the time to go committee chair by committee chair. If you want to make a committee report, the chair must submit written version of the report for inclusion in the package in advance of delegate assembly. Okay? Can you imagine if we had to hear from the chairs of every committee? So I'm going to skip over that and go to good and welfare. All right? Is there anything under good and welfare? I think people are starting to vote with their feet. Anything? Anyone? Good and welfare? No, he's going the wrong way. Okay. Well, we're pretty much, we've exhausted the stack, and I would entertain a motion to adjourn. Oh, no, wait, folks. No, it's not right. We have some representatives here. Niels, would you like to say a few words? Niels Heimrich is personal assistant, senior personal assistant to our county commissioner, District 2, Greg Weiss.
Good morning, everybody. So, yes, I want to talk a little bit more about what happened yesterday at the Zoning Commission. So the
A
zoning,
little closer to the mic.
all right. The Zoning Commission is an advisory board made out of 7 people, just residents, and they yesterday approved the application from D.R. Horton. There was also a staff report, and staff basically looks at the proposal and see if it meets the code. And staff recommended approval, albeit with conditions. So let's back up. So the old golf course was approved for development in 2013 before Commissioner Weiss took office. So the land is entitled, and if the developer wanted to build, they can build what they were approved for back in 2013. But that's not what they're coming for now. What they're trying to do now is build 700 homes on the old golf course, and ultimately, the decision is going to be up to the Board of County Commissioners, and Commissioner Weiss is one of 7 people on the Board of County Commissioners. I think it's very important for you to know that Commissioner Weiss is listening to you all. And I want you to know that you need to email us and call us to let us know what you feel about this proposal. I know that in the past the board is very, and I know Commissioner Weiss thinks it's very important that applicants work with the community, with you all. And we've been telling the applicant to please work and listen to UCO and other representatives of Century Village, because at the end of the day, if the community, can let the developer know what they feel, and the developer can change their plan and ultimately get the approval of the community, then it generally is smooth sailing for a proposal like this. What happened yesterday is staff imposed certain conditions, so they approved it with conditions, but again, ultimately, the board can do what they want. They can go against staff recommendation. They can ignore the Zoning Commission's recommendations. They're just recommendations. But staff imposed certain things, including an 80-foot buffer. And I think that the developer, with that condition, the 80-foot buffer, is probably not going to be able to cram in 700 homes on that property. So what is happening now is the developer is trying to work with staff on those conditions. And what I suspect is going to happen is that this is going to take some time. And I suspect that either staff or the applicant is going to ask for a postponement. And that means that there's another month before this would come before the Board of County Commissioners. It would not be July 22nd, but it would be August 25th or 26th. Having said that, what I think is important is that you all understand what is being proposed. And what I'm going to try and do is make sure that you all and your representatives have a real good understanding of what's being proposed, and where you guys can exert pressure to hopefully change the plans so that it's more palatable to you all. I've spoken with Dave Dave would like the applicant to provide a video explaining their proposal. I'll call them today and make sure that you guys get a video explaining the proposal and that it can be broadcast on your TV channel. At the same time, what I would like to do is have an opportunity for your representatives at UCO to have a sit down with our staff so that UCO can also really understand, this plan because there's certain concerns about safety, drainage, and I'm not a PZMB guy, so I don't fully understand it all. But I do want to make sure that you all are in a position to really advocate for yourselves, to really have an informed opinion, and I invite you to let us know what you feel about this project. At the end of the day, it's going to be, Commissioner Weiss at this point cannot take a position because in a way he's going to be one of the 7 jurors who eventually is going to decide on this proposal, and the board can decide to reject the proposal, it can decide to approve the proposal, or it can decide to approve the proposal with conditions. So we really want to hear from you. Commissioner Weiss is listening. Many of you have already emailed and called us. I read all the emails, he reads all the emails, so keep them coming. But at this point, I just want you all to understand that it really is, it would behoove the applicant to work with you all, to listen to your concerns and see if they can accommodate it. And again, we want to listen to you so that when this comes before the Board of County Commissioner, Commissioner Weiss can really advocate on your behalf and take into consideration what you feel about this project before the board makes a vote on this. Any questions? The email address is district, the numeral 2, at pbcgov.org. So district, the number 2, at pbcgov.org.
Donald.
Hi, Niels. Quick question. I'm sure you're going to get quite a bit of feedback now, especially, and I'm sure you've had some already. My question is that feedback to Commissioner Weiss shared with the other commissioners?
No, but you're also free to email all the other commissioners. I know that they also have staff and they, respond to emails. Commissioners cannot talk to each other about things that come in front of them before the board. That would be a sunshine violation. So commissioners can talk to each other about their grandkids, but they don't talk to each other about things that they have to decide on. They can only do so in a publicly noticed meeting.
Any questions for Neil? Olga.
If the commissioners approve the development without conditions, does this mean they're going to do anything they want? Because we have a lot of problems, especially with the water and the drainage, that must be considered. So I need to know, I need to have an answer to this question.
So there cannot be an adverse impact to Century Village when it comes to drainage. That is a legal requirement. They can't do whatever they want. If the current proposal, which is likely going to change because they're still working out some of these conditions with staff, but once that gets, once that becomes the proposal, that's what comes in front of the board. If that were to get approved, then that's what they get approved for. So if they were to get approved for 600 homes, 700 homes, then they can build 700 homes. They can't build 800 homes. They get approved for the plan that is before the board at that time, if the board were to approve it.
But there will still be situations that they must take care of before they could continue the building of the 700 homes.
Right.
In other words, they can't just build 700 homes and that's it. We still have to be considered on our end.
Right, you guys have to be considered, but once they get approved, then they can build for what they're approved for.
So that's what I needed to know.
Okay.
Thank you.
I don't know enough about that, and I'm not a planning, zoning, and building guy, so I really don't feel comfortable because I don't want to tell you something that's not true. But what I'm trying to effort for is that there's something visual, a presentation that can be broadcast on the UCO or on the Century Village TV channel, so you really get a better understanding. So I will, as the plans become finalized, if I have them, I'll share them with UCO, and I'll make sure that you all can look at them and understand what they're actually proposing, because I do think it's important that you all have an opinion and an informed opinion.
Any other questions for Niels? Niels, thank you.
There's one more.
Oh, sorry. Wait for the mic.
Commissioner Wise sits on the board. He is the commission, so he's going to listen. But in all reality, Commissioner Wise can just do what he do.
Can't understand the thing she.
So she said Commissioner Wise sits on the board, and he says he's going to listen, but he can do whatever he wants to do. I mean, yes, ultimately he has to make a vote, but he has a track record of listening to his people. And again, I don't know, there are probably people here who have contacted our office. Anyone who contacts us gets a response. If you email us, you get an email back. If you call us, you get a call back. Commissioner Wise, if he didn't want to listen, I wouldn't be here. So, he's here to listen. At the end of the day, he is one of 7. But I rest assured that he does listen to his constituents very carefully, and he weighs that very heavily when it comes to adjudicating the proposal that is before him.
Yeah, recently, Commissioner Weiss had a major town hall meeting. He's very interactive. He's very easy to approach. Write down that email address, okay? And there's a lot of votes that come up out of this village that put that particular commissioner in place. We were a major force in putting Paulette Burdick on that commission and Commissioner Weiss. And that particular commissioner is very sensitive to that fact. You have a lot of power here, folks. Don't squander it. All right. Anything else for Niels? Whoa, 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 I see a hand. Little hand. Short little hand. Yeah.
Judith Moritz from Northampton M. I was told a few years ago that the golf course, the land was poisoned, and they had to clean the land before they could do anything with it.
All right.
After that, I never heard anything.
Some years ago, and I did make that report available, and I can do it again. As a condition, because a golf course is known to be one of the filthiest plots of land on earth, years and years, decades of pesticides and herbicides, in particular arsenic, was discovered in the soil and in the groundwater. They're going to have to mitigate this. Now, the story being told is a little weaselly. At first, they were going to dump 36 inches of soil, but that would change the grade negatively toward us. You know, we'd become a water sink for Reflection Bay. Now, the latest version of the truth is they're going to dig it out and then put in new soil. The bottom line is this issue is important, and it's very, very nebulous. It's not clear to me how that's going to come down. You may have a better feeling for this.
So it's called it's called a soil remediation. So they need to have a soil remediation plan. That plan needs to be approved by, and it's overseen by the Florida Department of Environmental Protection. Generally, what they do is they first test the soil and to find how much arsenic is in there and other bad stuff. and then they mix it with other soil that is not contaminated to get it below a certain threshold. This is all, they need to hire their independent consultants who perform these borings and testings. They need to then mix the soil, test it again and again. What's unfortunate about it, because this is often very concerning to people, is that it's under the purview not of us, but of the State Department of Environmental Protection. So when they mix the soil, it's obviously important that it's not going to blow around. So they also need a dust plan, and they need a watering truck on site. So those are the things that, if it were to get to that point, are obviously very concerning for us. There are health concerns involved. So even though we don't oversee it and we don't control it, I do want to know, if you guys see dust blowing or if you see that the watering truck is not on site. I do want you to call me and let me know, because then I'll get our building official involved, who does oversee any and can stop any building project in the county. And if that were to happen, I can have a building inspector come out.
We can't hear you, dear.
They can no longer put up houses till they clean the land.
What?
That's exactly right. Yeah. So so the soil remediation needs to be completed before they can start building.
Yeah, of course. All right. Any other questions for Niels? Am I missing anybody?
You're missing me.
We'll get there.
Dom Conaja.
Dom.
I attended the meeting yesterday. They plan on putting in 700 houses, and they're going to have 5,000 trips a day. They have no plans for other than a single cut curb, so they can only use one exit from the village. And there's no consideration for school buses, Palm Tran buses, and a taxi area or whatever. All the emergency cars and so forth will be having a difficult time getting in. I haven't prepared this thing, so I'm talking off the top of my head. But anyway, you will not want to exit the Haverhill Gate. It's going to back up traffic all the way to 45th Street, and people are going to try to get away from the Haverhill exit and go to Military Trail, parallel to us. And in 2022, we will have 2 more exit ramps on the Turnpike. So now you're going to have the Turnpike people trying to get off on the Okeechobee exit and blend in with our traffic exiting. It's going to be hell here in the village. So those are things that have to be thought about. Thank you.
So that's a good question to address with staff once I'm able to set up that meeting with you all. I don't know that there was a question in there, but I don't have an answer to it.
Thank you.
Yeah. All right. Niels, thank you. We also have with us from the Property Appraiser's Office, Mike Pratt, who will briefly speak to us. Hi, Mike.
Good morning, everybody. It's great to be here. I just wanted to say 2 things. One, we will be starting our homestead exemption outreach September the 2nd here in the clubhouse. So all of you associations, any new people, let them know that we'll be here at 1:30 in the afternoon, Thursday, September the 2nd at 1:30 to 2:30. It will be announced out there. And the second thing is next month, August, is trim time. The truth and millage notice, you're going to get notice of your valuations for your property assessments. And Dorothy Jacks will be coming with me next month in August. So we look forward to coming back and talking to you about the valuations. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Mike. And it was pointed out to me that I was remiss in not introducing the editor-in-chief of our UCO Reporter, Ruth Dries, and she's 2 feet away from me.
Whoever pointed it out, thank you, Donald. I'll be very brief. I just want to let you know that due to our new business manager, Fausto, at the end of the tables, we have advertisers who owe nothing up until June. We have a 0 accounts receivable through June. Plus, our new policy, if they don't pay for the July issue, which came out last Saturday, if they're not paid by the 20th of the month, they do not go into August. We're carrying nobody. That's all I can tell you. Happy 4th of July.
All right, yes, I reiterate, take it easy, happy 4th of July, and I would entertain a motion to adjourn. All right. Thank you, ladies. And without further ado, we are adjourned.